Last week, Chelsea lost their unbeaten record as they went down 3-1 against Tottenham Hotspur, leaving only two teams left in the Premiership who have not lost yet, Liverpool and Manchester City. Arsenal continue to win on the road, while Manchester United drew another blank. Guys, welcome to the Sanderson show as we discuss the upcoming fixtures and have a quick recap of last weekend's fixtures. Guys, you're probably wondering why I have these here on the table. It will all make sense, just stay tuned. I'm going to start at Wembley, where Tottenham handily dispatched of Chelsea in a 3-1 victory. And to be honest, it was a fantastic performance by Tottenham from start to finish. I mean, you could almost say they put in an ace performance. Now, it finished 3-1, but in reality, it could have been 3, could have been 5, could have even been 6. Ali, Eriksen, Son and Kane played absolutely brilliant, and they just dragged their back four from side to side. The midfield with dominance, Sissoko and Dyer put in an excellent performance, and it was a Tottenham of old. And it was a brilliant performance because they came up against a Chelsea team who hadn't lost in the league, were looking very strong defensively and strong attacking as well. However, I did say last week, no teams had really gone out and tried to put Chelsea under pressure from early in the game. And Tottenham did just that, and you saw cracks appear very early. David Luiz really didn't cover himself, and you could say he sort of left the rest of the team to hang out to dry. Tottenham in this game showed why they are a team that, with a few additions, could be title challengers and potentially title winners. In the game against PSV in the week, against Inter Milan, they picked up another win. So I say PSV because it was a very similar type of result. And you just think now Tottenham starting to hit a bit of form, and they start getting their stride whereby they're going to go on a nice run and start to climb up the table and really start to put pressure on the teams above them. I think they can. I've said it many times. Yes, they didn't sign anyone in the summer, but they have not weakened. And that core team is still together. Eriksen is playing some of the best football he's played in his career so far this season. And in my opinion, he's been one of the best midfielders in the league. And with him in the team, with Kane starting to fire again, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens for the rest of the season. I mean, are they going to become kings? Or, unfortunately, are they going to be jokers again this season? It's going to be very interesting to see. Chelsea, on the other hand, this is David Luiz. This is David Luiz. What was he doing last week? A terrible performance in defence. He almost single-handedly lost Chelsea the game. The first goal came from a free kick which he gave away. The second goal, he danced. He moved out of the way. As a defender, you can't do that. I've never seen John Terry move out of the way of a shot coming towards him. Not John Terry. That doesn't happen. Centre-backs aren't meant to do that. And the third goal was he just ran out of shot pretty much. Do you know what it's like? It's like when you're playing on Xbox or PlayStation and the analog button gets stuck. That's what David Luiz was doing. And it was just really poor. And it makes you think, will Sarri now change that defence? Rudiger had a good game. Couldn't do much about any of the goals. But will he now bring in Christensen instead of David Luiz? Now, granted, David Luiz is really good when it comes to distributing the ball from the back and playing out from the back, but as a centre-back, your main job is to stop goals going in and to protect your goalkeeper, and he simply didn't do that. Had it not been for Kepa, it could have been a very, very embarrassing result for Chelsea. But thankfully, Kepa did have a good game and kept them in the game and kept the score quite respectable. One thing that was really hard to watch from a Chelsea point of view was Morata as well. He's offside all the time. It's like he stays offside. I mean, I grew up watching Inzaghi, and Inzaghi was always offside, but this guy, Morata, he takes the medal. The difference between him and Inzaghi is Inzaghi used to score goals, Morata doesn't really do that. And you saw the change in momentum when Giroud came on. They had a focal point, they had someone who could hold the ball up, bring others into play, and it was a brilliant header by Giroud. Obviously, he's not the most liked person in Tottenham. He used to play for Arsenal, now he plays with Chelsea, and he just scored against them. But he could be the catalyst that helps Chelsea this season, because I just don't think it's going to be Morata. Hazard was a shadow of himself this game, and it just wasn't the Chelsea we've been used to seeing under Sarri. Again, they won in Europa League, so plain sailing there, but they were expected to win that game. This, in my opinion, was their biggest test so far this season, and they failed miserably. This weekend, Tottenham have got Arsenal at home in the North London derby, which is going to be a great game. I'm actually going to go for... what am I going to go for? I'm going to go for an Arsenal win at the Emirates. I think they'll just edge Tottenham out. It's going to be a very difficult game for Arsenal, and again, this will be a big test for Arsenal as well, but I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. I think they're starting to play much better at the Emirates. They're starting to express themselves more under Emery at the Emirates. I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. Chelsea have the perfect game to bounce back. They have Fulham at home. Fulham lead goals, Chelsea need to score goals. It's a simple formula. Fulham have been the worst team in the Premiership this season by a distance, by an absolute distance. And if you want to play any team right now and build your confidence, Fulham is that team. So it remains to be seen. I mean, I fully expect Chelsea to go out there and give Fulham a good beating, despite it being a derby. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Will it be blues for Chelsea if Fulham take some points, or will Sarri soldiers continue to march on and get back to winning ways? And then in the North London derby, will it be Arsenal or will it be Tottenham? Let me know in the comments below. Now we move on to Manchester United, and I don't even know where to start. Man United drew another blank, this time at home against Crystal Palace, and it just... what's going on? What's going on? The Theatre of Dreams has become a place of nightmares, and they are really playing S at the moment because half of the players don't look like they give an F. And Mourinho, half of the time, you're just scratching your head when he picks his team and you're just thinking, why? It's Jose Mourinho, what can you say? And it's really weird to see Manchester United in this position. We're double digits of games into the season now. You'd start to think they'd start to bring some sort of cohesion in, and it appears Mourinho still doesn't even know his best 11. And that's not good. You've been there for 3 seasons. You've been manager there for 3 seasons. You still don't know your best formation. You still don't know your best system. And you don't know who your best collective 11 is. And Crystal Palace really and truly should have won this game. They did everything to win this game, but they just don't have that killer instinct in front of goal. They're just really wasteful in front of goal. But when was the last time you heard me say Crystal Palace, or anyone say Crystal Palace went to Old Trafford and came away disappointed with a draw? That says it all, doesn't it? Now, granted, again, they did bounce back in the Champions League with a 1-0 win against Young Boys, but is that really something to be proud of? This is Manchester United we're talking about. And I'm a Liverpool fan saying this. I should be, well, I'll be honest, I am enjoying it. But I'm watching Manchester United and I'm thinking there's no identity there. Half the players don't look like they want to be there, or they don't want to play for Mourinho. Mourinho's consistently hanging players out to dry, and he's not being that authoritative figure or that leader that they need right now. And I said at the beginning of the season that they would get top 4, and I still think they will get top 4, as crazy as that sounds. But if they're not within touching distance by the beginning of 2019, they will not get it, because you'll be relying on too many teams to falter. You'll be relying on one of Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham or Liverpool to not finish in the top 4. You're asking too much of other teams to do you a favour. This weekend they have Bournemouth at home. This weekend they play against Southampton away, and really and truly, this should be a game where they go away from home and they should beat Southampton. Southampton haven't had a great start to the season, but you just don't know what you're going to get with Mourinho, and you don't know what you're going to get with Manchester United. Now, granted, when they play away from home, they probably feel a bit less pressure. They can play counter-attacking football, which helps the likes of Martial and Rashford and Pogba if he plays. But once again, they should be going to Southampton and they should be literally just packing them in and just beating them quite comfortably, especially this current Southampton, who haven't got any top players right now. But again, you just don't know what you're going to get with Mourinho and Manchester United. Now, personally, I do think they will grind out a result, but I don't think it'll be pretty. I think it's going to be a 1-0 or a 2-1. I expect to see a close game. It shouldn't be, but I expect to see a close game, and it just leaves me thinking, what do you guys think? Should it be Mourinho in or Mourinho out? Guys, let me know in the comments below, and let me know who you think are going to win out of Southampton and Manchester United. So guys, I now move on to my club, Liverpool Football Club, and it's been a week of two halves really, hasn't it? Started off really well, ended really badly, and it kind of makes you wonder. You just don't know what Liverpool you're getting. You're having to guess what Liverpool you're getting right now, and it's quite frustrating. I mean, I watched the Watford game and we played well in that game. Not brilliant, but we played well and we grounded out a result, and 3-0 away from home against Watford is nothing to be gawked at. However, I watched us against PSG and it's like, are we men or are we mice? Like, what's going on? We got ran ragged in that game, and that's not the Liverpool under Klopp that I'm used to watching. Not Liverpool under Klopp, maybe under Rodgers towards the end, maybe under Hodgson, maybe under Kenny towards the end, but not Klopp. And it was quite an embarrassing first half for Liverpool. Now, they only went in 2-1 at half time because they got the penalty at the end of the first half, but it could have been a lot more, and it could have been a lot more in the second half had it not been for Alisson Becker in goal. And it just makes you think, what is going on with the dynamic of Liverpool's midfield? Now, in the Watford game, there were so many chances for Henderson or Wijnaldum to play a forward pass, and a lot of the time they just turned back around and played it behind them or played the safe pass. You're not going to win cups if you continue to play it safe. It sounds really brutal considering we won the game, but it's just the facts. And in the PSG game, our midfield got taken for a ride. Like, Wijnaldum was nowhere to be seen. Henderson, he made some good passes, but they're all side to side. There's nothing penetrating there, and Milner still seems to make immature decisions for such an experienced player, and it's really frustrating to watch. And I just don't know what you're going to get with Liverpool. Again, it was a good win last week in the league, and they're still within touching distance of City, still undefeated. So in the league, I can't really complain, but in the Champions League, we have to beat Napoli. If we don't beat Napoli, we're out of the Champions League in the group stage, which it's embarrassing considering we just got to the final and we should have really done more in the final to win it. This weekend, it's the arch nemesis. It's Everton. I think Everton probably look at this fixture a bit more than Liverpool do. I don't think Liverpool see Everton in the same way as Everton see Liverpool. I do think Liverpool would be up for the game, and again, it is the perfect game to bounce back in. But again, it all depends on the midfield. I mean, Klopp has signed Fabinho, he signed Keita for around 100 million in total, but they're not playing. Why aren't they playing? As much as Wijnaldum had a good start to the season, Keita is better than Wijnaldum. In my opinion, Fabinho does a better job as a holding role or a number 6 than Henderson. Why aren't they being integrated into the team? And Shaqiri was brought in to be a backup to Salah, and he's now having to be a focal point in the middle because there's not that creative spark. And while Liverpool have been solid at the back thanks to the form of Gomez and Van Dijk, you just don't know what's going to happen now, and it leaves you thinking, if Liverpool continue like this, they might get exposed. And really and truly, the money that Liverpool have spent in the summer, plus the players they brought in, the fact that it's Klopp's third season, they really do need a trophy. And if they don't get that trophy, who knows what's going to happen. But guys, this weekend they have Everton. Let me know who you think is going to win. Is it going to be the red half of Merseyside or is it going to be the blue half? Leave your comments below. Now guys, I will move on to Arsenal Football Club, and the Emery evolution continues to pick up pace as Arsenal picks up another away win. Now, here's a stat for you. Arsenal have won more away games under Emery so far this season than they did under Arsene Wenger in the whole of 2018. If you're telling me they haven't bought into Emery's philosophy, then you'd be lying. And they have just been quietly going around their business and going through and collecting points. But this Bournemouth game was really interesting because this is one of those games where they'd usually end up in jail and they would lose. To be completely honest, they would lose this game. And when it went to 1-1 just on the stroke of half time, you thought, maybe this could be that game where Arsenal come unstuck. However, no. They showed strong resolve, they played well, and Aubameyang was their get-out-of-free jail card. And they just continued to go around, collecting points away from home. And Emery's done a brilliant job so far, he really has. And to think that Arsenal have got so much money, as we know from the board, however he's done it on such a small budget, you have to give kudos to the man. He's been brilliant, and Arsenal are playing a really good brand of football at the moment. Granted, defensively they are still very, very poor, and they come up against a top team, they will come unstuck because that defence just isn't strong enough. But right now, for what they're looking to achieve this season, which is top 4, I think they're in a very, very good place. I don't think they will get top 4. I don't. But I think they will run very, very close this season. And if they do get top 4, in my opinion, they would have overachieved this season. Now, this weekend is a big game. And I said earlier in this show that I think that Tottenham are going to lose this game. I think Arsenal are going to squeeze out a result. However, it's not going to be easy. And I've just spoken about their defence. Their defence will have to be rock solid from minute 1. Because if Kane gets any sort of confidence, if Son gets any sort of confidence, if Ali, if Eriksen gets too much time on the ball in midfield, they will rip Arsenal to shreds. Especially Harry Kane. He's devastating in front of goal. Love him or hate him. In front of goal, he's got ice running through his veins. But at the same token, Aubameyang, one-on-one with a goalkeeper, you fancy Aubameyang, don't you? Because the guy's just a world-class finisher. Doesn't really impact the game and the build-up play too much. Lacazette does that more, but in terms of just devastating impact and finishing, Aubameyang's your man. So I'm really looking forward to this game. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the Liverpool game the most, but this is the second game I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. North London derby is always fun, always have goals, always have drama. I'm going for an Arsenal win. Arsenal fans, let me know if you agree. Tottenham fans, let me know if you disagree and you think that Tottenham are going to go to the Emirates and pick up 3 points. Let me know in the comments below. And now guys, I finish up with the league leaders, the best team in England, one of the best teams in Europe, Manchester City. And last week they went to, well, let's just be honest, their second home, their home away from home, and gave West Ham an absolute beating. And this could have been a lot worse again. It finished 4-0. It could have been so much worse. And City started this game as if, it's almost as though Pep said to them before they went out, I want 10 today. And it looked like it was going to happen. It was 3-0 within no time. And they sort of eased off the gas. And West Ham did come back into the game and they had some opportunities and chances. But Man City never really looked in trouble. And then they went and got the 4th. But the 3 goals were just eye of the needle stuff. The passing, the movement, the composure. The most important thing is the composure. And they just made West Ham look so average. And West Ham, I mean, they are average, but Man City made it look really easy. It didn't look like a Premiership team versus Manchester City. It just looked like a Championship team or a lower league team. And it just reiterates and re-authoritates the fact that they are going to be so difficult to overthrow and to rip the Premier League trophy away from them this season. I don't think it can be done. They've got so much strength in depth. I mean, imagine they've won 4-0 away from home and Pep Guardiola just wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. And it's just, he said after the game, he said, they're playing well, but if Sterling has a bad game, then Mahrez comes in. If Sane has a bad game, then Mahrez comes in, or Silva. That's the sort of depth we're talking about. Kevin De Bruyne, who in my opinion is the best attacking midfielder in the Premiership and most creative player in the Premiership, has hardly played this season. Look where they are. It's incredible. And I've used games and board games so far to describe the different teams, but I think that would be disrespectful to Man City because they are playing a different game right now. They're on a whole nother level. Everyone else is playing board games and card games. These guys are playing technology. They're a different breed, and they are a top class team. They've got Bournemouth this weekend, and unfortunately for Bournemouth, I don't see them getting anything at the Emirates. Sorry, at the Etihad. I actually think it's going to be probably a 4 or 5-0 win. And again, that's no sort of me bad-mouthing Eddie Howe's team. I mean, they're a good footballing team. It's just you're coming up against Manchester City. It's simple as that. Their goal difference is ridiculous so far this season. The only way they're losing the league is if they go on a massive crisis of bad results, and I don't see that happening. Not of the players they have, not of the intensity that Guardiola brings to the role. In my opinion, they're just too strong, and for me, I think they're going to win this game very comfortably. And again, in the Champions League, a good performance. What can you say? Guardiola's men continue to move forward and plough ahead, and their quest for back-to-back Premier Leagues, it looks like it's on. But guys, as always, thank you very, very much for joining me. Please remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and tell your friends and family. Until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching the Sanderson Show. I'll see you soon.